Thank you, everybody. I'm Kai Robinson of ProRank Business Solutions. And today we're going to do another open Q&A session for the PennDOT Mentor-Protege Program navigation of ProRank Academy. Today's call is going to focus on making sure folks understand how to get signed up quickly and easily for this program, and then making sure that proteges specifically understand the resources that are in each tiered room so that they can move themselves from tier to tier, request assistance, or make sure that they access all of the resources that are available, take advantage of all of the resources that they have to help themselves progress through the program. So we'll start with the tier one and talk about the purpose, and just that's what I'll do if the dialogue doesn't really take us other places. That's the framework, but let's try to make this an open dialogue, and feel free to start placing your questions in the chat immediately, and the team will start to read them to me, and I'll try to weave them into what I'm doing. If not, just stop altogether and address that question. The first thing that I want to show everybody, the fastest ways to sign up for the Mentor-Protege program. You can sign yourself up, and the place that you come to do that is mppsurvey.com. All right, and that's just like Mentor-Protege Program, survey.com, and you'll land on a page that looks like this. All right, that's if you're putting it into Google or you're putting it into an address bar, if you're navigating here from the web. And if you are a protege, then what you're going to do is this is the protege questionnaire where we are right now. You would literally just scroll down and answer these questions. All right, begin to answer these and click next. And you would answer a couple pages of questions, and then you would, on the last page, you're going to see a submit button. All right. And then you would just click that submit button. The action of filling out this form or this survey will do a few different things for you. Okay. If you do not already have a ProRank Academy user associated with the email address that you provide in this required field, then it's automatically going to create a new ProRank Academy account for your user, for that email address. And it's going to send you a welcome email to access that account, but it's also going to send you the welcome email to access the Mentor-Protege program. Okay, so a lot of things happen for you automatically just by completing this survey. It creates your ProRank Academy profile. It puts you in the Mentor-Protege program formally, and it sends you the information via email so that you can access all of this information on ProRank Academy, and so that you understand what tier you're in and what the objective of the tier is. A lot of the information that I'm going to show you in the tier rooms today is sent to you in your welcome email. So it's very important that you check your spam or your junk if you didn't get an email after the next couple minutes of completing this, and find that email from ProRank Academy and whitelist it. All right, so that's proteges. If you are a mentor, where it says, please click here to complete the mentor questionnaire. If you want to be a mentor in this program, right, and it doesn't matter if there's already a member of your organization that is a potential mentor, if you want your profile to have access, then you would click on the click here, and you'll see that you're redirected to this PennDOT MPP Prime Mentor Survey. All right, and you would just complete this version and you would submit. Okay, and that's going to do the exact same thing for you as a prime mentor as it does for the protege. If you already have, and this works for the protege too, if you already have an email that's on ProRank Academy or a profile that's on ProRank Academy, and either the prime or the protege use that email address when they complete this survey, then it's not going to complete an extra profile. It will just move your existing user into the Mentor-Protege program rooms. All right. So it's very important that if you already have an email that you're using or a profile that you're using on ProRank Academy, that you can still do this survey here, but just make sure that you use the same email address, and it will automatically update your user to the correct rooms in ProRank Academy to participate in the Mentor Protege program. Okay. I see some questions, so I want to pause.
Yes, we have one question here from Mr. Lee that actually is right along that same line. Are you allowed to fill this form out if you are not the owner?
Yes, if you are not the owner, you can fill these forms out. But here's what you must be. All right. If you are a potential protege, then you must be a certified DBE with the Pennsylvania Unified Certification Program. All right. Your organization must be. All right. So you don't have to be the owner, but you must be filling it out on behalf of a firm, because that's really what you're doing. You're placing your firm is becoming a protege. You're not becoming a protege. It's your company, right? So that company must be a certified DBE, and we are going to verify that. So that's the requirement there. And if you want to fill this out as a potential prime mentor, then you must be a PennDOT business partner on ECMS that is currently in good standing and able to bid on PennDOT projects. So that means you are actively business partner registered, qualified, and ready to participate on PennDOT projects, right? So, and you don't have to be the owner, but you must be representing a company that is in that status to be in this program. So hopefully that clarifies the question that was asked. All right. Are there any other questions, or did we?
Yes, there is another one from Eileen. Can you be a mentor to more than one protege?
Yes, you can be a mentor to more than one protege. Absolutely. And I believe even on one project, you can have multiple proteges if you choose. So yes, you can do that. And also keep in mind that the mentor protege experience is project based. So you might actually sign an MOU with a protege for a project, and maybe you don't win that project. And maybe the next time around you go for another project, that protege, they're already used or they're already on a project and they're not underutilized, right? They're already awarded, so they're not available. Then you can actually have an MOU with another protege at that point, because you are not formally a mentor until you are awarded that project that has the mentor protege provisions on it. Okay. So that's why we're calling you potential mentors, because until you're actually awarded that project, you're not formally, the mentoring does not take place technically. So, you know, you might submit with a couple different proteges before you actually are awarded a project, you know, an MPP project. And at that time, your protege may or may not have been the same one that you started out with. I hope that answers the question effectively.
And we do have one from Harold for construction groups. Can you please explain tier 1, 2, and 3 again?
Absolutely. So we're going to get into that. So our question about the different tiers, I'm going to show you the quickest way that if you're enrolled in this program to pull up information on the MPP, and then we're going to talk about tiers while we're looking at that information. That's by going over here to the site-wide search and putting in MPP and hitting enter. All right. You're not going to see this many results, but what this does is bring everything in ProRank Academy that's relevant to the term that you're searching to you, as opposed to you trying to go through the different blog posts, the different pages, the different forums, the different discussions, the different forum replies, the different applicable members or groups. Now, groups is what we were looking for, right? Groups are also called rooms. We call them group rooms sometimes, and we're going to drill down on those. And if I click on any of these, it's going to take me to the relevant portion of this page that is just grouping everything that I'm just showing you, all right? So everything is grouped here, and this is the group section that we just saw up there, which are also called rooms. I'm going to click on view 11 more. You're not going to have nearly this many. I'm seeing this many because I'm in all of these rooms as an administrator. You'll see maybe 4. You might only see 1 if you're not really in the program, but you'll see 4 normally if you're in the program. And now there's 2 different cohorts before we get into the tiers. The Mentor Protege program is separated into 2 different tracks because that's how the PennDOT experience, the PennDOT bidding and contracting experience is kind of separated. You have the consultant side. That's how ECMS is separated for the most part. You have the consultant side, which is dealing with advertisements, statements of interest, and design, engineering, environmental planning, right? And then all of those types of contracts, and those are best value contracts, if you will, advertisements. And then you have the construction side, which is low bid, right? Which is actually after you have the designs, after you have the plans, it's time to build, right? It's time to actually build or maintain whatever it is that was designed. So the program is separated that way. And we ask that you answer questions that are going to put you into one of two cohorts, either the contractor cohort or the consultant cohort. All right. So those are the two different cohorts, contractor or consultant. And both of those cohorts are separated into 4 different tiers. All right. To start to get into the answer of this question. And the purpose of these tiers are to place proteges in a proper grouping so that we can assist them to make sure that they're actually ready to work before they're partnered and offered as potential proteges to mentors that are looking for firms they're trying to partner with tomorrow, right? On projects that are on ECMS today. So if we have a potential protege that is not yet business partner registered in ECMS, then they're not going to be ready to partner with a potential prime mentor that is looking to execute of an MPP project that's on ECMS right now. So we have to have a way to separate those that aren't yet ready from those that are ready, and then also assist those to become ready and have a logical way to walk them through the process of getting ready. And that's what the tier structure is in the MPP program. Tier 1 for both the consultants and the contractors are all proteges that are not business partner registered in ECMS yet, which is the first step for everybody to do business with PennDOT, business partner registration. Could you imagine if we were partnering proteges that weren't yet business partner registered with you as a mentor that's looking for somebody, and neither one of you know this until your bid is hindered or jammed up or confused or complicated. So we separate tier 1 firms from the tier that is ready to work, which we call tier 3. All right. So if you come into this program, if you answer the survey as a protege and you let us know that you're not yet business partner registered, and we will check, you can see this for everybody in ECMS that comes in, but some people know, some people don't, but we'll check. You're either going to tell us or we're going to check, or a combination of both, and we'll put you in tier 1 if you're not yet registered. And the purpose of the tier 1 room, right? If I just click on this tier 1 consultant room, the purpose of tier 1 is to help firms get business partner registered over that first hurdle. So if you look at the individual navigation options here in your tier 1 room, not to be confused with the main navigational options for the website on the top, these are in the middle of the page. When you get into the tier, we have a feed, we have discussions, we have the documents. But first, what I want to do is I want to show you the course. If I'm a tier 1 company, and I'm trying to get to tier 2, whether I'm a consultant or contractor, first thing I'm going to see is course 22.1, PennDOT ECMS Business Partner Registration. And this course is going to walk me through how to get business partner registered on PennDOT. And just the process of business partner registration, when I go through and I watch this video, and it's just like we're there with you, walking you through the registration process. All right. And PennDOT ECMS. It's a 20-minute video. You watch this video, and then you're going to submit your application to become business partner registered. Once you get registered, you're going to notify us, but we'll also be checking to find it. So we might see it before you do. You might see it before us, but you let us know, and that's going to make you eligible to move to tier 2. Right. And this is going to be the same whether you are a contractor or a consultant, because all tier 1 firms are not business partner registered. And the way that we get all proteges to tier 2 is through business partner registration. This process is the same for everybody. And there's also not just the courses, but there's also discussions that will explain to you more about the purpose of the tier. All right. How to get the tier 2 consultant cohort. There's the exact same discussion here for contractors, right? How to get the tier 2 contractor cohort if I was in the MPP contractor room. All right. But it's a parallel room, and everywhere it says consultant here, it's going to say contractor here. But these are actual discussions that have resources, videos, and links. A lot of these are sent to you in your welcome email, depending on which tier you're in. So you can walk through this, and this is like a video explainer, just, telling you the point of the room and welcoming you to the room. But that's the tier 1 room. The point of tier 1 is to get you business partner registered and to move you to tier 2. And the rooms are set up to have information and courses, especially in tier 1 and tier 2, to move you to those next tiers, to get you to the ready to work tier, which is tier 3. All right. So the tier 2 room, and I'm going to just go back to my list here. And next time, let's go to tier 2 contractors. All right. We went to tier 1 consultants. And again, you're going to be in one cohort or the other, contractor or consultant. You can't be in both at the same time. You can go through one and then go through another. But now we're going to look at tier 2. We're going to talk about the purpose of tier 2. All right. The purpose of tier 2 for contractors and for consultants is the qualification step, right, in ECMS. But it's different for contractors and consultants. Where tier 1, business partner registration, is the same for everybody. The step of qualification for consultants is submitting an annual qualifications package. It's done annually. It doesn't require any approval from PennDOT, right? And we have a course in the tier 2 consultant room, like we have a course here in the tier 2 contractor room, to whereas though those proteges come to this course, then this course is going to have this contractor pre-qualification lesson here. It also has ECMS for contractors, and it's more ECMS navigational information, but that's because this general course houses a lesson that is specific to contractor pre-qualification. And if we click on this pre-qualification lesson, then this has these, and you'll see I already took it, so they're crossed out, but this is walking you through completing every page of the contractor pre-qualification application, right? And it's discussing that process. We have a similar course like this in the consultant room that will walk a consultant through submitting every part of their consultant qualifications package, right? And that's done annually. Also, for consultants, we discuss renewal, and in discussions, things like discussions, we discuss renewal, because contractors can lapse. Their pre-quals can lapse. They can relapse every 2 years, right? So how do I become qualified? And then how do I renew? And then also, how do I renew as a consultant? These are the types of information that you'll find in the discussions, right? And then also links about welcoming you to the room, because you could start out in these tiers. You don't have to start out in tier 1 based on your answers, based on where you are. You might be business partner registered already, but you're just not qualified. That would be an example of a protege that starts out in tier 2, right? Their experience could completely just be tier 2, then tier 3, then tier 4. Some firms will never even see tier 1 or tier 2. Some firms are already, qualified and pre-qualified, so they'll start out in tier 3. We don't want to be giving you firms that are not actively qualified or pre-qualified and telling you that they're ready to work as a mentor, because then you're going to find that out at an opportune time for both of you. So the purpose of tier 2 is to help contractors get pre-qualified and submit their pre-qualification applications, and also to help consultants submit their qualification packages. And then the purpose of tier 3, we go back, for contractors and consultants, is to help partner you with a potential prime mentor. That's where we're actually trying to create that network, right? And again, if you're a contractor, then you're going to see this room. If you're a consultant, then you'll see this room. We'll toggle back to the consultants and look at the tier 3 room. Let's see what we have in here as far as courses. But the members part of this room is really important, because in the tier 3 room, it's more about engaging one another and networking. So the courses are showing you getting started with ProRank Academy, right? Showing you how to make sure you have a built out profile. making sure you're putting your best foot forward before you start to reach out to folks and solicit them if you're a potential protege, right? Network tutorials showing you ins and outs of how to use the community to find different companies. Because really, you don't even have to limit yourself to people that are in the program. You could think, hey, I just have to get them in the program. Maybe I just need to send them a link. Maybe I just need to show them they need to click on this banner and complete this questionnaire, and they can be a mentor. And then maybe I have an inside track to be their protege, right? So this is the way that we need to be thinking about networking and using this resource. And if you're a protege, you have a great opportunity to get in here and master this while nobody really knows what's going on, and really set yourself apart while everybody's trying to figure this out, right? So we have Get Work tutorials, which this is showing you how to use the job and project poster, right? Because when you're tier 3, it's all about trying to market and promote and network yourself, right? And find a mentor, and mentors are in here looking for proteges, maybe just as actively as you're looking for them. That's the cool part about it, right? So when we go to the members portion of the tier 3 room, we go to the members section of the room. We have our members in different groupings. And at the top, we have program administrators. These are all folks that are actually responsible for administering the program or overseeing the program somehow. So if you want to contact with them or ask them questions or connect with them, just understand that's who they are. That's their role. They're not necessarily mentors or proteges, all right? But they could be with mentor or protege companies, all right? But just that's their role in this particular program. Now we'll get to, if we scroll down, the potential mentors section, and both cohorts work the same way. Now for consultants, we have a lot more participation than we have for contractors, but that's an opportunity to, again, solicit folks from the bigger pro rank community, which is up here under activity-free community, which we can get into a little bit later. But you can start to filter out folks and look for folks and then start to, network with them and say, hey, did you ever think about becoming a mentor in this program? Did you ever think about becoming a protege in this program?
Hey, Kyron.
Okay, we have some questions. Yes.
Yeah, it's Harold. Good morning. So tomorrow I have a meeting with some contractors. And so, going into the groups, so I would just, for potential proteges, I would go into the tier 3, which we have a handful of people, and just show them, hey, for proteges or new DBE firms that you maybe aren't aware of, you want to go to the tier 3 level and look at them.
That's right. You got it.
Yeah, because I talked to Brian Stark. So I'm going to mention him, and there's a few others.
Okay.
What about for tier 2? How do we, so I want to tell the contractors, okay, there's tier 2. How would they help?
The mentoring is project specific, it's project based, right? So there is no mentoring until you're awarded a project, and you can't be awarded a project with them if they're not, ready to work. So, there is no line item, there is no reimbursement. Now, if you have somebody that says, hey, we want to help tier 2 firms get pre-qualified, and we want to give them work to help them get their experience or to help them get their provisional pre-qualification, then you just contact me directly, and we'll make sure we line them up with the folks they need. But that would be more of a case-by-case scenario rather than confusing folks by giving them access to firms that aren't ready to work. Because, unless we have more mentors that are standing up to say we want to do that, we think that it might cause confusion, if that makes sense.
Okay. I didn't know if the contractor would look at the tier 2 and say, well, yeah, I'd like the mentor, and so would become a mentor. But okay, we'll start with the tier 3, but I'll take a look at tier 2 as well. Just
right, and you can, because you're a program admin. Also, this is for program admins, right? For PennDOT personnel. If you're with PennDOT at any level and you want to be an administrator, just contact us, and we can set you up as not a protege, not a mentor, but as an admin in whatever room you want to sit, right? And then if you say, all right, well, we want to come up with a plan internally to help some of these tier 2s get that's what we're going for. And that's what this system is hopefully going to be able to do for us, is give different groups of people different views to the folks that need help. so that you can have your own ideas of how to help them. And then you can actually contact them or contact us, and we can work together to, come up with another program in the program or a resource within the resource to help lift firms through these different tiers. So absolutely. And I keep saying we have an opportunity to make this whatever it needs to be. So nothing is cut in stone. So all of your ideas are welcomed. And I think we need to keep on flushing them out and thinking about how we can do exactly what you said, Harold. Open up tier 2, especially for contracting, because tier 2 for consultants is easy to get you qualified. Doesn't even require PennDOT approval. But for construction, it's a whole nother animal. Nother animal.
Thank you.
All right, no problem at all.
Yep, and Brian Stark did drop a chat in there. He confirming he is a tier 3 contractor.
Yeah, I talked to Brian last week.
And if you keep going, and now you're seeing the pool of potential proteges. Now, if you're a potential protege looking at this is why it's important to have a profile image up here and be smiling at your folks, because it could be the difference between somebody saying, hey, this guy looks smart, and just taking a look at his profile. And then hopefully you have taken the time to update your profile, right? And to click on that edit button that you see here. When you click on your home, you'll see an edit button here. And when you answer all those questions completely, right, that's how you have a full profile. If you take the time to actually go to submit your capability statement, which is a major thing that we recommend doing, now you're giving your potential mentors even more information on your company, right? Because just by clicking on this, submit resume or capability statement, you could submit either. Here's the beautiful thing. If you submit a capability statement, okay, and you have other organizational users, because if you're a DBE, then you can use something called corporate accounts, and we can get into that later, but we can show you how to connect your other organizational users to your company, so that you don't have to recreate your profile banner over, or they don't have to edit their profile over and over again and have different information for your organization. If your organization does these services, then they'll transfer to everybody. Your organizational answers from the profile will transfer to everybody. Your company branding on top will transfer to everybody. And if you do a capability statement, that will be visible on all of your sub-accounts profile as well. All right. Resumes are going to be only applicable to the account that submits the resume. So if I submit a resume here, that's only going to be visible on that actual profile, because resumes are personal. But capability statements are organizational. So these will go across an organization. So I'll give you an example just by taking a look at my profile. I'm going to click on home real quick, show you exactly what I mean. So this banner right here, if I want to use a corporate account, if I want to go to accounts and subscriptions, and if you have an enhanced diverse business membership, this is the benefit of that versus being a public profile, right? You can go over, you won't have this many. You'll see enhanced diverse business access. You'll scroll your little mouse over. Your parent account will have this access, right? And you can click on this sub accounts. A lot of you probably didn't even know that this is here. PennDOT has this ability too. So if you are PennDOT personnel then, and you're like in project delivery or at a district, and we want to associate you with Daryl. If you're a PennDOT personnel that's associated with BEO or civil rights, then we'll associate you with Deb, but they have this ability too. To add a sub account, if they're an existing user on ProRank Academy, you already see members of your organization from ProRank Academy, and you're the parent account, you would just come here to add sub account and you would type the existing username. All right. You could say send the new welcome email, which you don't need to do, but these check boxes. Click here to share your profile banner with your sub account. Click here to share your profile data with your sub account, and then click submit. If they're existing, you would use this. If they're not existing, if they're not on ProRank Academy yet, give them a username, put their email in, first name, last name, and make sure you send them the new welcome email. And this will automatically create a brand new user associated with your account that has all of your company branding, right? And that also has all of your profile information, that's applicable, and they don't have to do it. They don't have to worry about it. So that's an advantage of having the enhanced diverse business account. And you get that by doing the needs assessment every 12 months at ana.pennDBE.com. And that will actually automatically, if you're a DBE, give you the enhanced diverse business access for another 12 months. And it will do that for everybody in your organization that's connected as a sub-account. And if anybody does that in your organization, it will renew everybody's access that's connected to your organization for another 12 months. So you don't have to worry about who's doing it or when you do it. Just do it once every 12 months and it'll keep you active. Now, because we uploaded our capability statement, our profile actually has a link to this capability statement that we uploaded. And it's just a truncated sample version with a little video up there, but it could be your full capability statement showing down here. It really isn't a good representation. The resume is better, but you'll see that you can have links, videos, and then actually a full capability statement underneath. And you have a link back to your profile. And then also if you have a resume or a personal resume or something like that, that capability statement will be on everybody's profile, but the resume itself would just be on your profile that's applicable to you. So view resume. If you have a resume there, then this is a link to that individual's resume, as well, which might be more specific to them. So again, that I'm going back to the profile, that links to your profile automatically when you take the time to submit that capability statement or resume here. All right. And this is a best practice if you are tier 3, once again, because the whole point of tier 3 is partnering with those prime mentors, right? And giving those prime potential mentors as much information about you as possible. Well, let me stop and answer questions. Don't let me run overboard. Let me stop and answer some of these questions.
We have a question from Eileen. When should you get an MOU in place, in advance of a known project, or do you have to wait until you plan to submit a statement of interest on a project?
Yeah, you should wait till you're going to submit that statement. You're sure that you're going to submit that statement of interest, because remember, your mentoring is project-based. So that's actually what tier 4 is. So tier 3 is trying to partner you with that prime for that project. And that MOU is for that project. It's not for life. It's not forever. It's what you're going to do for that project. And if that firm is underutilized, and we can show you the fastest way to determine that, you go to resources, hover MPP resources, and then slide over to MPP room reports. All right. And then click on that. That's where we are right now. All right. And maybe Ken or Rudy can drop this link into the chat and click the drop down arrow. You'll see all of the rooms here that you have access to based on the rooms that you're in. You're only going to see probably about 4 rooms, though. I'm seeing all of this because I'm in all of these rooms. Maybe program admins will see rooms. If you're a program admin, if you're with PennDOT and you need to see more rooms, again, let us know, because by us adding you to the room as an admin, that will add this room to your list. All right. And then you'll be able to manipulate these rooms or see these groups of people. Right. So if I wanted to go to the tier 3 contractor or tier 3 consultant room, say I'm trying to figure out who's underutilized or not, then I'm going to see this underutilized column. All right. And if it says yes, that means they're underutilized. If it says no, they're not underutilized. And if it says NA, then the question is not applicable to them. It does have to say yes. All right. And they're in here, but there's a lot of folks in this room. One thing you can do is export this report. You can sort these columns however you need to, quickly and easily. But looking at these reports, first name, last name, company name, tier. The tier is only going to be applicable to proteges, potential proteges. Underutilized or not, only going to be applicable to proteges. Member role, right? That's their role in the room. Remember, there's 3 roles that you can be. You can be a potential mentor, you can be a protege, or you can be a program admin. And then this is a link to view their profile directly from this report. All right. So you can do this from any room, right? And remember that these rooms are nested. So this room is the big room that holds all of these other rooms. And what that means is if you go to this report at the top and click on search, everybody will be here. Everybody will be here from all tiers, from all cohorts even, right? These rooms start to break down into cohort when you start to get into like the consultant mentor protege and the contractor mentor protege. But this room houses both of these two rooms. So what that means is you can generate a report on everybody in this program if you want to. And you can see exactly where they stand in this program if you want to. All right. And there will be some folks that are potential proteges that don't have any tiers in this room, because these are just people that have expressed interest, but they might not be certified DBEs, or they might not have taken the time to complete the survey at mppsurvey.com. So if you are a certified DBE and you find yourself on this list, then take the time to complete the survey at mppsurvey.com. Let's read. So I feel like we're missing some of these questions. So let me stop and pause for, do we have any more questions from anybody?
There's a question from Harold. For the courses, is there a way to get a PDF to review in addition to the audio version?
There are materials and there are documents in the courses, right? So there's handouts that come with the courses, but it's not like a PDF of the entire course. There's going to be documents that correspond with courses a lot of times. You can access the documents in the tier rooms. We have the corresponding templates and documents, and a lot of times they'll also, if you go to the course, so you see when you see a topic, if you have also associated materials, there'll be a little materials tab, and then you'll have documents sometimes there. So sometimes there will be PDFs. If there's a handout for the course that we're doing, if it's based on a presentation, then there'll be a PDF. But, sometimes they'll be there, sometimes they won't. But this is where you would look for them in the materials tab. And also you would go to the documents section, because there's always going to be relevant documents, whether there is an actual course PDF or not. Hopefully that answers the question.
We do have another question, Kai. Will this recording be made available for view for later references? I was thinking maybe show the reference page where all those helpful.
Absolutely. Great idea, Rudy. But we're also trying to get the last week's edited too. But if you come under resources and MPP resources, it's the main resource page. And what we'll do is we'll have these videos. We'll start like posting them on this page. And this is where you see a lot of the updates from other videos with timestamps and the things that were discussed, so it's really laid out. Also, we drive home the fact that you have all of your documents on this page, your program documents. So your program guide, your MOU templates, your work plans, your MOU templates for both contractor and consultants, your MPP log for invoicing. This is a very helpful page, and we will add this video to this page, as well as the last call that we did as well. Any other questions?
Yep, you go ahead and read it, Ken.
Okay. Underutilized, please explain when and why a protege would indicate this.
When and why a protege would indicate this. So a protege actually doesn't necessarily indicate it as much as when they're asked their ethnicity. Underutilized is based on the findings from the 2018 PennDOT disparity study, which found that firms that were determined to be underutilized, according to that study, every other firm other than this underutilized pool was at parity or more than parity per what we would call the disparity index. And we do a pretty good job of describing this in the purpose and the background of this video right here. We show you a chart that breaks down where underutilized firms were, and that's purely a designation based on the ethnicity group found in the 2018 disparity study. So when you tell us your ethnicity, and it's based also on PAUCP as well, right? It's that information is there, then you're automatically going to be designated underutilized if your company is owned by a DBE of African American descent, right? So that's how it happens. It's not like they tell us that they're underutilized or anything, but if the owner of their company is African American, DBE certified, then they're going to be considered an underutilized firm. Now, the reason that a protege would want to make sure that they indicate this when they're talking to primes is that underutilized firms to make sure that the same lack of opportunity does not occur within this program specifically that's designed to help them get more opportunity. Because if we don't have a mechanism to make it advantageous to use them, then history shows that they won't get used at the same rate. That's why we have the program. So what we do is we allow those firms to work on multiple projects simultaneously, multiple MPP projects. A mentor can use an underutilized protege on as many MPP projects simultaneously as they want to, as long as it's not a conflict of interest. Non-underutilized firms, those are DBEs owned by the other designated classes or groups of folks, then they can only work on one MPP project at a time. So what's going to happen is after they are selected and awarded to the project, when it's formalized, then they're going to be moved out of the tier 3 room and into the tier 4 room, and primes won't be able to see them until they complete that project. And then they can always re-enter the program again. But that's considered like a graduation. They went all the way through, and then they can come back in and they would start back out at tier 3 again, right? And it would be effectively just like re-entering at the tier 3 pool and starting over, maybe with a different objective to gain a different skill set, maybe with a different prime. But what we're also going to look to do is put a weighting on those firms and keep count of how many times firms go through, and then also use that as a selection criteria down the road to make sure, once again, that the same firms aren't dominating this program that is designed specifically to help firms have equal access and opportunity to contracts. Another question. Tier 4 firms, they be flagged in tier 3 room. They're not underutilized. If so, would mentors still? So hopefully that answers your question, Eric. The non-underutilized firms will be removed from tier 3. So it's not that they'll be flagged in tier 3, is that they won't be in the tier 3 room as an option to be selected after they are formally recognized and placed on a project. So if you have been awarded a project and you know it's a go and it's started, it's about to go, and you still see yourself in tier 3, and you're not underutilized, please just shoot us a message to mpp@prorankllc.com, and we'll make sure we get you updated. But if not, we will get around to getting you updated this week. And also, if you have an MOU and you're not sure what to do with your MOU, all you have to do with that MOU, and again, you don't really need the MOU till you're thinking about submitting a statement of interest, right? But then you just submit that MOU. It's the mentor's responsibility to execute the MOU with the protege, and then to mail that MOU to mpp@prorankllc.com. mpp@prorankllc.com. I can't stress enough that we can go to this community and we can actively solicit more participation, especially in construction. I'm going to reset. We can actively solicit more participation from folks that are already on ProRank Academy, right? But you can actually solicit participation from people that aren't on ProRank Academy just by sending them mppsurvey.com link and explaining to them if they're a mentor, they just need to click on the click here. And if they're a protege, when they get there, they just need to complete the form. And again, that's going to create their ProRank Academy user. It's going to put them in the rooms that I just showed you. That's proper for them based on if they're registered, whether they're qualified, or whether they're ready to work. They're either going to start out in tier 1, 2, or 3, or if they're a mentor, they're either going to be in the consultant cohort or the contractor cohort, and they'll have access to tier 3, right? And it works pretty much the same for both cohorts. So I hope that this call was helpful. I hope that this helped to clarify things. I hope that slowly but surely we're getting our minds around this program. And remember, we're completely open to your suggestions. This is not set in stone. If something needs to change, let us know. We're going to try to remain open and flexible. And we have a survey that Rudy just put in the meeting chat that you can complete and let us know how we're doing,
Okay, we got a last question from
Sure.
Eric. For tier 4, the firm may be on other teams that have not been selected. Will this create an issue for the mentor who has
Yes, tell them. Yes, yes, yes. If you're on other teams, they're on other teams where the mentor is relying on them to be their protege, and they can't be. Then they need to inform those other teams immediately. And the best practice, if you're a mentor, is you should find an underutilized firm and have them as an alternate, because the district will let you switch out proteges in that scenario. So it's not going to cause them a problem if they're ready for it. And the way for them to be ready for it, the best way is to get an underutilized firm as an alternate, because if they don't use an underutilized firm, it could happen to them again with the other firm that they selected as an alternate. Even underutilized firms can work on multiple projects simultaneously, so that could never happen to them. So if they pick an underutilized firm as the primary protege or as an alternate, that's a way that a mentor can prevent having that issue moving forward. And that's a best practice that we recommend. And hopefully that helps everybody. One more thing we can close out is just making sure you understand jobs and projects. If you want to see notices, we have 2 new notices. And we also have a new podcast that will keep you up to date without necessarily coming into ProRank Academy. So if you click on the podcast link here, we have the podcast that will tell you about the notices, when they come out, and about these live sessions, these calls, when they happen, so you can check those out. But also to check out any notice, just go to Jobs and Projects, click on the Jobs and Projects link. And if you want to just see the MPP notices, then you can filter by keyword MPP. And you'll see we have 2 new ones that were posted today. We're telling you about those in the podcast, but you can always see and access and open them up. And these aren't going to be in ECMS yet. So again, if you're trying to make friends with primes or intrigue primes, it might not even be in the program yet. You might want to send them a project that's not even in ECMS yet and say, hey, you know, if you become a potential mentor in this program, I can show you how you can find projects that aren't even in ECMS yet. And we can partner together to maybe go after them. And you get a $25,000 line item for helping me out. Daryl talks more about that line item in that MPP, this video where you see Daryl here front and center. And hopefully he'll give us another amazing update like that shortly. He's talking about what's in it for the mentors, what's in it for mentors instruction cohort. So you can just click on these links and just get these specific bits of information. That's the point of these timestamps in these videos, if you take the time to read through them.
Hey, Kai, Harold had another question. How do I select just the proteges that are underutilized?
There you go. All right. Good question. You'll see an underutilized pool. If you go back to your group rooms, then you'll see mentors have access to the underutilized pool of proteges and group rooms. So if I go back to my mentor protege rooms, then you'll see, if you're a consultant, you'll see the underutilized consultant pool. If you're a contractor, then you'll see an underutilized contractor pool right here. Now, the one thing to keep in mind about this pool is this shows you all underutilized potential proteges, not just tier 3. All right. So, and to your point earlier, if primes say we want to help out underutilized proteges that might not necessarily be tier 3 yet, then they're all here. But all of our underutilized contractor proteges, most of them happen to actually be tier 3. So a few of them aren't, you know, might be tier 2 or something like that, but they're all here. And the same thing for consultants, right? This is just going to show you the pool of underutilized consultants. If we go to the underutilized consultant pool, that's the purpose of that room.
Can you also show them the reports so they can see underutilized and tier 3?
Absolutely. Great point, Ken. Go back to the report, like Ken said, MPP report, room reports. You can actually just go to the room. So just go to the underutilized consultant room report. All right. Do a search on that. And then it's just going to show you who's tier 3 in there, right? It's going to show you the tier of everybody in there, to Ken's point. So this way you'll see who's in there, because if it's not applicable, then they're a mentor, all right? And there's going to be a lot of mentors in there because every mentor in that cohort has access to the room. Whoever you see tier 3 is a tier 3 underutilized firm, because there's only underutilized proteges in this room, all right? So whenever you see tier 3 in this room, then that's a tier 3 underutilized firm. But again, it's showing you the tier of every underutilized consultant in this room, and it will do the same thing for every contractor. And you can view their profile if you want to learn more about them. right? Or you can export this report if you need to at the top. And
you can filter by tier 3 too, right? Or no?
Well, the filters, you can't filter up here, but if you export the report, then you can filter by any of these columns that you want to once you have your own.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
You can do a protege, at least get all the firms.
No, you're exactly right. You could actually filter out by potential protege, potential mentor. So select protege, search, and you can filter that out at least. And if you do the report, then the report will only give you those proteges. So that's a great point, y'all. But you can filter by room role. And we'll add tier filters or add the filters to these headers so that you can actually filter by name, by tier, by all that cool stuff. But does that work out for you? Hopefully that helps everybody out a little bit. And also, while you're here, for anybody here that's looking, if you are seeking more diverse businesses, then we have the PRSSC Mapper. That is a geographic search tool for, I want to say, 2,200 businesses or something like that are diverse owned. Yeah, right. 2259, right? And you can just put in the address that you want and then the radius for that address. And it's going to show you a listing that you can actually click on and get more information and directions. But then it's also a listing of the firms generated down here. And what this does is give you a consolidated profile view of this firm, of everything that we have on them. From if they're in ProRank Academy, then we give you their ProRank Academy information. We give you their PAUCP profile if they're in PAUCP, and we give you their ECMS information if they're in ECMS, right? So it's a consolidated view that you can use to get more information on firms. And then you also have a filter up here where you can filter those, firms by DBE, ACDBE, next codes, contractor work codes, work descriptions, PennDOT consultant status, PAUCP descriptions. So this is a major tool that you could be using to recruit people again, meet them, and then send them the link to mppsurvey.com. If they're certified DBEs, hey, this might be great for you. Another thing we want to show contractors is this SSC search tool. And this is an amazing tool that, especially if you're district personnel or you're trying to figure out how many DBEs there are, or, prime trying to figure out how many DBEs there are for the types of work, then this is actually giving you a breakout of the work class codes for PennDOT, the number of active projects that we have from ECMS that have those work class codes in them. You can view a list of those projects that have those work class codes. You can see how many DBE firms there are that have that work classification. Then you can view a list of those DBE firms here. So if you're a DBE or a DB, I believe this is both, then I would encourage you to come here and view these different work codes if you have any of them, and make sure you're on this list. If you're not on this listing for any reason, then let us know, and we'll make sure that you're represented and you're on this list. But this is an amazing resource. It can even help you determine which work code you want to try to get, because if you see there's no DBEs with that work code, and it's something that's not far off from what you do, it's something that you might want to try to develop proficiency in, because there's not going to be a lot of competition there. Then that might be an opportunity to try to maximize something. So we go back to the top. But that's the kind of research that you want to do, because this is going to be changing. This is going to be moving as people gain pre-qualifications and their pre-qualifications expire. So use this tool. All right. And with that, we're going to close out. Again, we thank you for joining us, and we hope that you found value in today's session.